I don't think, I think it's up there, yeah, behind those. So at this point it still looked like there was snow up in the higher passes that we needed to cross over, but we didn't know if we were looking at the passes that we'd need to cross or maybe it was something else. But at this point we had made it to Tashigaon and we found the guest house that Doma had pointed us to. Doma didi ko afanto tapai मेरो बुढी आउँदै हुनुहुन्छ तीनजना So this is where we ended up staying in Tashigaon. This was Doma Didi, the woman that we stayed with in Sedua's relatives, her mother-in-law to be exact. We ended up staying here one night, and I will let my past self catch you up on how we were feeling. Good morning. It's been a few days, but we are currently in Tashigaon, which is kind of the stepping off point for going up over the Shiptonla Pass, kind of the last point before we start getting into some pretty high altitudes, so over 3,000 meters. Right now, it seems like from everybody that we've passed on the trail that we've talked to, it seems like we've passed two types of people. One type of person is the type telling us that all the passes are closed because of all the snow, and even from here you can still see that there's quite a bit of snow where we're supposed to go. And the second type of person I think are all the people, I think every lodge from here on out is owned by the same family, which is a Sherpa family who we stayed with in Sedua, and who we stayed with one of their daughters in Sedua, and we stayed with the mother and the father in Tashigaon. They own all of the lodges north of here that keep going up all the way up to Makalu base camp. It seems like the owners of the higher ones are not here today, but they will get in tomorrow, and depending on the snowfall they may open up for us. It's me, Mino, and a French-Canadian guy named Frederick, and we have made it all the way up to Tashigaon, but since there's only 3 of us, I don't know if they think it's worth opening the ones higher than here. Even last week we heard that there was a group of about 6 or 7 people that came up that didn't get any further than here, Tashigaon, because of the snowfall. Because the other lodges weren't open, or they wouldn't open them for them because they knew that they weren't going to be able to get any further because of the snow. But I don't know a lot about that situation. I don't know if those people also spoke Nepali, which has been a huge boon for us, getting into these places and talking to people and finding out just what is going on north of here. It may be the key to actually getting us further, as long as it's weather permitting. We also heard just yesterday that there is a group of about 6 or 7 people coming up to here to Tashigaon today. And if that's the case, that may increase our chance of getting these higher guest houses open. So I guess we'll see what happens. Today, our plan, we met the other daughter of the older couple that lives up here, the grandparents, so to speak, that live up here. They own one of these other guest houses, and they're going up to a place called Dandakarka. They're going up to Dandakarka. They own the only guest house up there. They're going to leave at about 10 today, and we're going to follow them up there. It should take about 3 to 4 hours, I think. And that's the last real stop before the guest houses need to start being opened. So before we hit like Kongma and the Shiptonla Pass, and then pass over that into the Makalu, the Barun Valley. So hopefully, we're hoping, we don't know what's going to happen really. We might get up there might be too much snow, and we might have to turn around. But we'll keep going, and we'll see what happens, and we'll be back. I'll report back from up in Dana Karka. There is one thing that I'd like to give a little bit of commentary on, and it has to do with the pricing of the Makalu trek. So one thing that I was not expecting was how expensive, at least for trekking, the guest houses and the rooms and the food all were. Now, if you've trekked in Nepal before, if you've done Annapurna, if you've done Lamtang, if you've done somewhere in Sagarmatha, you understand that the lower you are, the less expensive things are. In Makalu, things were a bit different. From the very first day, things were more expensive than we had initially thought they would be. This is probably a result of just really one family owning a lot of the guest houses and lodges, so they can charge whatever they want. And I don't blame them. If I was in their position, I would probably do the same thing. It's a smart move. I just think people, when they go to Makalu and have done treks in Nepal before, should be aware of how expensive things can get. So after leaving Tashigan, we hiked for a little while and then came across this huge ravine that looked like it had been taken out by a landslide. And the path to this ravine had two diverging ways. One went down into the gully, and then one went off somewhere else. The one that goes off somewhere else, I'll say the left path, had just leaves covering it. It looked like it hadn't been walked in a while. So we decided that we would take the gully path. And the gully path, the further we went down, it looked like it was just a trail for horses. You can see here that there's just a piece of wood, a log, as a bridge, and then you have to kind of climb up the other side of the ravine.
That other path, it didn't go anywhere, right?
I don't know, it's just like block and check. We have to cross the river.
Okay.
I mean, there's kind of a path.
There is, yeah. It's not that bad. Oh yeah, up there. There's a little spot right there. I think this is fine though.
Turns out, you'll see later on in the video that we see a bridge up at the top of the ravine. And so we thought that that was the real path, and we had taken maybe just the horse trail. It turns out that on our way back down, we went the other way, and that bridge is closed. And this was the correct path for now. They're doing repairs on the bridge that's at the top, but for now, the only path is this skinny log path going across the ravine.
Oh, there's a bridge up there.
Oh.
Frederick, you see that?
Maybe you are right.
Maybe that other path. It must meet up.